G'day everybody, welcome back on Living on 2 Acres, Queensland. And today follow-up video on my Dragon Fruit Trellis, which I built about 2 years ago. And I just wanted to show you how it looks and what's happening, and just share my thoughts of what I've done and what I perhaps maybe should have done slightly different, but we'll get to that. So I've made this bed here 2 years ago or so, just over perhaps, and mostly the plants that were planted here, the dragon fruit, they were all cuttings. I picked some up from the lady nearby and just stuck them in the ground. So that same year, at the end of the season, I already had a few fruit of it, and then it grew till now, and this is where we're at. At the moment it's just early January 2026, and I just had first harvest. I picked up about, I want to say maybe 8 or 9 already. I think that one's probably ready to go as well, and there's a few more, and it's also flowering again, like here. Not every plant, I must say, is flowering, but quite a few do, and I think it should produce enough fruit this season for my modest needs. Now it probably doesn't look very flashy, I must say. Some plants didn't grow well at all, others did quite well, but overall, because there are so many, I still expect to get a few good fruits of each of my patches. And you can see, and you would have seen in my previous video, I planted pineapples, or well, pineapple tops obviously, all along this bed, and this is where we're at the moment. So I think these pineapples here are about to start ripening, and it'll probably happen all together. So I'll have a lot of pineapple to deal with. I think it wasn't a bad decision to stick them in here, especially as I read on the internet. Because pineapples mostly consume water, through their leaves. That's why they all, tilted towards the center. It doesn't actually draw all that much moisture out of the ground, so it does not compete with the dragon fruit for water, which is great. I think I'll plant these same pups, or well, actually tops, again once I eat the pineapples, and just gonna keep on, going that way. It does, of course, sort of derives a bit of water which would have fell on the ground for the dragon fruit, because it covers the space with its leaves. But I do water it occasionally, just by hand, very rarely, and that seems to be sufficient. So yeah, if you're someone thinking of doing that, I'd say it'll work. Just go ahead with it. The fact that pineapples are a bit smaller, I'm not sure what that is to be contributed to, but maybe because I don't know what fruit was that I got the tops from. I just got some tops from someone else, and I couldn't see what the pineapples were that produced the tops. So I think maybe it's just that sort of pineapple. But my second guess is, because it has been pretty dry through the season, I'd say maybe they just didn't get enough moisture to develop into larger fruit. And also, I'm not in any way I'm a pineapple specialist, but I think it's underdeveloped here a little bit, which suggests that maybe it didn't have enough water when it was going through development, but it'll still be plenty. But anyway, I have sort of shifted sideways from the dragon fruit situation. Now I'm just gonna show you how I did the support, and you can see there's a wire, steel wire, which that's the one I removed from my old clothes dryer, like a mushroom thing, and it's still very, very good. It's not getting rusted at all. It's an old one, so I think it'll last for ages. And then I put the PVC pipe on it, just because just to stop plants to be cut under its own weight on it. So I think that'll be okay. And also I expect this to last very long, and I'll show you my other one, which I've done a bit later after this one, and I've done it differently, and now I sort of regret I've done it not the same way as here, but I'll show you what I mean. Also, you can see on top these planks That was actually all done not to support the plants, but I was planning to put a net over it to protect the fruit, because we have a lot of flying wildlife which enjoys chewing on them, and even if there's no fruit, the cockadoos occasionally come and just munch on the just because I don't think they really like the taste, they just want to munch on it, and they destroy a lot. So I was planning to have it covered with the net, but that doesn't work. It's so prickly, and it's really sort of still accessible to birds when you chuck a net over it. I'm not going to put the net, but now the planks are there just maybe to support a little bit of a actual vine if it laps over it. I'm not going to remove it. So that's that there. I also wish I would have done the actual bed to be a little bit higher, because when I mow, a lot of grass flying in there, and that causes the grass to actually grow inside of it, which I would rather not. So my second one was a bit higher, and that works a lot better in that regard. So that's the one I've done maybe half a year on from the first one, and here I already learned a few lessons, but I made also new mistakes. So as you can see, it's pretty high. The pineapples in here are younger than those you've seen before, because obviously this has been built later on, and I only planted them later. Again, they're not terrific, and I suspect the fact that they change color might indicate that they're lacking water. I am trying to water it, but I don't always get to here. Basically, sorry guys, there's aviation enthusiast flying above. Anyway, he's gone. So yeah, this is basically set and forget for me, as well as those pineapples there. I didn't want to take care of them too much, and I just wanted to see how they will do basically on their own, but I water them occasionally anyway. So on this one I also had the fruit pretty much the same season I planted the cuttings. They would pop up basically very low on the vine, only a few, and now this year I already picked a few fruit off here, and it's flowering again. These flowers I believe flowered a couple of nights ago, and there are more on the way. There's quite a few actually. And also, yeah, so it's actually here right on the stem. I heard a lot of times that it prefers to put out fruit buds on the branches that hang downwards, but that doesn't seem to be the case every time. There's some fruit there. It's probably been getting ready to be picked in a few days, I'd say. And yeah, so there's more flowers here. So definitely worked. Very good. I'm very happy with how it goes so far. Again, because I planted many just to be sure that I get at least some fruit, and I think so far it works. Now, what I was talking about, the way I built this really different, and I think it was a bad idea. Now you can see how it's done here. This is actually not a timber, but like a plastic timber plank imitation. I bought them at some point to do something else, never did, and now I thought I'd use them. The reason why I used it is because it is actually plastic, and it's not going to rot, you know, or because it's an outdoor product, it's supposed to last a lot better outside. But firstly, I'm not too sure if it's strong enough to hold the weight of the plants once they start pushing outwards on it. And also, this is a treated pine post, so it's not a hardwood which lasts like, you know, ages. And I think where I drilled, although I used real long tough screws, eventually they'll loosen up, I think, just because the pine will gradually deteriorate, and that might actually set loose this whole section, and the plants might just fall and break. I'm now thinking maybe getting some hardwood planks, like the thicker ones, and just setting another barrier here, just to you know, give it more support, and to make sure I don't have to deal with a catastrophe later on. But for now it all works, and looks great. I'm happy I've done it, and we'll see what the future holds for it. Try it at home. It doesn't have to be this big. As you can see, I got some singles there as well, just growing on a single post. That works as well. I had to replace all the posts though, because initially when I've done it, I have used timber that is not very hard, and termites and moisture got to it and they all fell. So these are all new. These are recycled hardwood posts for old fence that I removed somewhere else. And that's a pretty tough timber. It was really difficult to nail nails into that, so I'm sure it'll hold. This is because it's so young, there's no flowers on it. I just basically was growing it to get it up to that stage. So maybe I get some flowers this year, maybe not. That's okay with me. I got other stuff growing. But that's a viable option as well if you have space for it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, like, share, subscribe, tell the others, leave a comment. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.